All right, it's been a while since I streamed, but yeah. So, all right, everything looks good. Yeah, so I just wanted to get on and look. Unfortunately, I was not able to get a beta key. I wish I could have got one, but I wasn't fast enough. I didn't realize they were doing giveaways for keys in the Discord until it was already too late. So basically, um, I have been watching the game though, Blue Protocol. I just wanted to give my thoughts about the game. I will be playing it when it comes out. The rumor is it's coming out October, mid October. We'll see. I don't know. So, oh, don't want to see that. So this, I surmise that they ran out of keys because this is the day one message. They said more keys are coming on day one, and then Lucky Drop day two, all the keys have been claimed. So, and then they're just saying there's more activities, but it's just like general events. So, anyways, keys are gone. I don't think there's gonna be more beta keys, but I wanted to get on and talk about Blue Protocol. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about Blue Protocol, and I'm going to have to watch streamers to talk about it. But I am an MMO veteran. Okay, now I've been playing MMOs for, on and off since like 2001. Okay, so Dark Age of Camelot was my first MMO, so it's like old school shit, right? Now, I have some thoughts about Blue Protocol, and I feel like a lot of gotcha gamers are going to get into Blue Protocol. Now, I'm watching Fob stream. Fob banned me. That's a long story, but, maybe I'll explain later why he banned me. But, yeah, so basically, Blue Protocol, even though I'm going to play it, I don't think this game has the legs. Let me just check my stream's working. Hold on, I want to see if the audio is good and everything. Okay, sounds like it's working. So, Blue Protocol. Now, um, there's a lot to say about the game, basically. And I think it'll be a game that sticks around for maybe a year or two. There seems to be like a decent amount of hype for it, but it's mostly like gotcha game players. Because it's an anime game, like they don't realize what an MMO is, right? I feel like there might be a lot of gotcha games players who like they don't really understand the MMO aspects. Now, it could be popular, like it could pick up legs just from the gotcha game community, but I there's some things we need to talk about first of all, okay? So, first of all, Blue Protocol, it let's go over the positives, okay, that I've seen so far. I haven't played the game, unfortunately, but I have been keeping track of it. I've been watching it. Apparently it's optimized very well. Okay, it's optimized. There's a good amount of, like computers can run it, like low end PCs. I'm sure it's going to run okay on mobile, and the game is not like graphically intense, right? So that's good for an MMO. That's something you want, right? So that's a very good positive for the game. I've heard the controls are smooth. I've heard the controls are responsive. Like, combat's decent. Um, that's another good point in the game's favor. Okay. Um, Now it's free to play, so that means there's no barrier to entry. So other MMOs have a barrier to entry. Like Guild Wars 2, you got to buy the game. You have to buy. Well, no, I think Guild Wars 2 is free now, but back in the day, Guild Wars 2 you had to buy the game, and then there was no like subscription fee. But nowadays, Guild Wars 2 is free. I'm pretty sure. Now, uh, the two biggest MMOs out there, I have extensive knowledge of: World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14. Okay, those are the biggest MMOs, right? Old school RuneScape is like doing its own thing on the side. It's still pretty big, I think, but it's like a really old game and it's a niche game for like those certain type of players. But as far as the two biggest MMOs, we all have to acknowledge World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 14, right? Now, will Blue Protocol hit that level of popularity? Obviously not, right? No one's expecting it to, but there's reasons why it won't, and I'll go over that shortly. Okay, so Blue Protocol. Now, from what I've seen of the story, there's something called role players that a lot of people have to understand. Role players will not be into this game. And now you think, I'm not, first of all, I want to say I am not a role player. I don't like role playing in MMOs. I think it's boring. I think it sucks. A lot of people like role playing. It's their thing. I just can't, it's just not my thing, right? I can't think of like creative, immersive character RP. Okay. It's just not the thing I do. So, um, the role playing community, why is World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 so big? Is because they have those players. They have the role playing community. Now, why is the role playing community important? You could ask yourself, well, hold on a second. Role players, they honestly, I don't really care about role players, but MMOs need them for a particular reason, right? And you could think like I only care about content, combat content, and farming gear and cosmetics and shit, right? Which is fine. It's good. That's mostly what I play MMOs for. I don't care about role playing, but role players are extremely important to the success of an MMO and how successful it will be. And why is that? Because role players, they play the game when there's no content in the game. They're essentially creating their own content. They role play with each other. They pretend. They make up character stories and create character arcs. Now, I don't know how good the story, from what I've seen so far, it does not look like it has the depth to it of, world building and character storylines and like a story to for role players to dig into. So basically, Blue Protocol is saying no thanks to role players, because you need to have investment in that kind of thing to attract the role players. So that's already an audience that is not going to be playing this game. I highly doubt role players are going to want to play this game. Okay, so that's fine, but you have to understand the reason why World of Warcraft and a lot of MMOs are successful is because they can capture that audience. Okay, and when there's no content in the game, role players keep paying their subscription. They keep buying stuff like cosmetics because they're casual players. And they keep feeding money into the game, right? This is a lot of MMOs over the years failed to understand this, that a lot of people who play are casual, right? And you have to be able to cater to those players, right? Now, I'll pull up another stream because I don't want to just watch FOM all day. But like Sarah Key here, I know she plays a lot of like JRPGs and you know, Persona, Kingdom Hearts, that's her thing, right? Xenoblade Chronicles. She is one of those people that are in it for the story and the immersive story, right? And if it does not lock her in, she's probably not going to be interested in this game, right? Maybe for a little bit, but as soon as like the story's gone, she's probably gone, right? And there's a lot of people like her that role players are a different breed. They don't just play for the main story and quit, but role players, like, they create their own story, right? Anyways, I don't want to go on about role players for too long, but you get the idea, right? So why is it that role players are important? I already said they give a lot of money to MMOs when there's no content. Now that Blue Protocol is not going to get that audience, I can already tell. Like, I've been playing MMOs on and off for a long time. So Blue Protocol is not going to get that audience. However, now you have to think about what is the audience it's trying to capture. It's people that just want to grind out content, combat, raids, dungeons, bosses, good mechanics, right? That's what I'm into. But the most important question is, how frequently is the game going to be updated? And that's the most important question. How much content is going to be updated? Are they going to add new bosses, new raids, new cosmetics, right? They're gonna have to keep adding stuff, right? Obviously, there's a gacha system where you roll for shit, and you get these like imagines, I think that's what they're called, and then you can they give your character stats and whatnot. So they're going to add obviously new ones. Maybe there's a little bit of power creep eventually. Your old imagines aren't as good. That's probably going to happen. That's what usually gachas go into, right? The power creep direction. Now, but the most important thing is Blue Protocol. I don't know, because it's been out in CN for a while. I haven't kept up with the CN side of things, right? Because I've been waiting for the English release or global release or whatever. So if someone has a key, they can hook me up, but I don't need it. I'll wait for the release and play it then. But I can already tell I don't need to play the game. That's how much I played MMOs. I played Final Fantasy 14 for since 2011? Man, that's no 2000. When did it relaunch? 2013 or so? I don't know. So, and then I played World of Warcraft before that. I played Guild Wars 2. I played Final Fantasy 11, the older Final Fantasy MMO, and then Dark Age of Camelot. So I know MMOs, right? I don't need to play the game to understand the semantics and like what an MMO needs to succeed. So it's going to need frequent updates for combat content, right? It's going to need this, right? They're going to add new world bosses. Then they're going to have to add new zones, right? Like to farm in or whatever, like new dungeons, obviously, because this is what the game is trying to be. It's trying to be a instance dungeon simulator. World bosses, I guess, are there, but it didn't look like the world is that interactive. It's mostly like you farm out in the world, and it's like, it's fine, I guess, but it's just like people just want to grind, right? So, great, I got an ad. Nice. Thanks, Twitch. Anyways, So basically, I don't know about the longevity of this game. I don't think it has longevity. However, I will play it, but I will not be spending a cent. I don't recommend spending money in the game. I don't. And that now that's counterintuitive because if you want the game to succeed, maybe you should spend money. Or maybe there should be enough people who want to spend money. But the devs have to come out with a roadmap. They have to say, look, this is how often we're going to update the game. Is it going to be up? Like, are they going to add dungeon? Like, how frequently? That's the most important question because you're already pushing aside the role players and the people who spend money without there being content added, which is very important for MMOs. If you can capture the role playing audience, then you can update less frequently, right? And stupid ads. And you can update less frequently in an MMO because you have those role players who are giving you money still. However, if you don't have that audience, which Blue Protocol won't have that audience, then you need to come out with a roadmap, and the devs need to say, okay, guys, we're updating the game so and so often. You know, there's going to be a new dungeon, new raid, a bunch of cosmetics are going to come out, and that's going to be the success of the game. If the game launches, this is what a fatal flaw of most MMOs. They'll launch, they'll let players, like, for 6 months, all the players will grind out the game, do all the content, and then there won't be a content update for like 6 months. And then everyone is going to be like, we did everything. You have to like release more shit. Like, I want to play more new bosses, new raids, right? You got to add a new class eventually, right? And that's the thing with MMOs is the problem is a lot of these MMOs, when they come out, there's a lot of hype at the start and then it falls off because the devs don't update the game frequently enough. So that's the number one problem that will affect Blue Protocol's success or not, right? So now if the game does have frequent content updates, then I don't know, it could last for a while. But I mean, from what I'm seeing, how many people are going to want to play the gacha system, right? Like, how many people are going to be invested in? Because there's a lot of like microtransactions. There's a lot of like small purchases, right? And will the whales want to whale enough, right? I know a couple of whales that are going to want to spend a lot of money when the game first comes out, but like I said, the longevity of this game, it's up in the air. And maybe I haven't done my research or not, but I really don't see there being too much of what I mean is like it's up in the air, right? Like, we have to know the content that's coming out, right? We have to know what's going to happen with oh man, these ads are just terrible. But yeah, like I said, is the story good enough? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. Sarah will be she's one of these people that will tell if the story is good enough for her, because she's one of those players that she's just a casual story enjoyer. She just wants to experience the world and the characters and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, they're players like that, right? And that's a difficult thing for an MMO to do because you have to capture so many different types of players. And for an MMO to do that, it's a really difficult thing. That's why MMOs fell off so hard, is because it's way easier to create a game that you just need to capture one particular niche, right? Like a MOBA, right? Like League of Legends. It's one game mode, maybe ARAM, but nobody really does that for competitive play. But you play League of Legends, Summoner's Rift, and that's the game, right? It's like a esports game, right? So MMOs fell off so hard because the idea of an MMO and how to be successful, it needs so many moving parts, and each of those parts have to combine to attract so many different types of players, right? You have to get the casual player who likes the story, who likes, immersive world building and, grinding for their cosmetics, right? And then you have to get the hardcore raider, like people who just like the combat shit and doing world bosses and dungeon grinding and having like ball busting combat where they're dying and doing like raid wipes and shit. And that's why and the only two MMOs in history that have gotten such success with multiple different audiences have been World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14, right? And it's a really hard thing to get an MMO up and running and be a breakout success. Now, I don't think people are expecting Blue Protocol to be as they're not, right? They're not. You'd be a fool to think that they're going to be as successful as World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14. However, MMOs also have a, how do you say, it's a dangerous drop off rate. Like once people start leaving your guild in the game, like you have friends who you play with and they stop playing, then you don't want to play either, right? So because a lot of the interactions within MMOs and why people keep playing is because they have friends who keep playing, or they meet people and they have like raid nights, right? They have commitments to groups and stuff like that. They grind with and do bosses and dungeons and shit, right? So if you have players leaving because they don't want to play the game anymore, usually if you have like 10 people leaving, you have like a collateral of like 3 or 4 other people who were their friends are not going to play anymore either. So that's what MMOs, they have like once they start dropping off, it's even worse than any other game because like a gotcha game like Genshin or something, like, okay, well, you don't, it's not that reliant on co-op, right? Gotcha games usually aren't reliant on co-op as much as MMOs are. So essentially, like, you just need to play by yourself. Like most people play gotcha games by themselves because they're single player games, right? And they engage with the community outside the game. But MMOs are different like that. So that's why Blue Protocol, if it doesn't succeed enough, it has a very good chance of just falling off completely. Now, I know a lot of people are hyped for the game. There's something new. Just play it. I'd say to be positive. I don't want to be all doom and gloom, but it's probably going to be fun for like the first 6 months, right? I'd say like for the first, if you grind it all day every day, you'll probably get like 3 months, 2 or 3 months of content out of it, and then you could just move on or just stop playing and then wait till they update the game, right? And if they don't, then no money. I wouldn't spend a lot of money. Like if you want to spend like the monthly pass and like buy a couple battle passes, sure, but I would not whale. I would not whale, and because it's risky, man. Like I just don't. It's an MMO, right? And MMOs have a chance to fall off, right? So yeah. Anyways, it'll be fun. I'll play it for a little bit. I think I'm gonna play Soul Musician. I'll be a healer for once. I usually don't play healer classes in MMOs, but I feel like being a healer, you can make up for like a lot of people's mistakes and like doing mechanics and shit. They get hit, so you heal them. Even though I heard like healing is not that great in this game, but it could be a problem because a lot of people like playing healers, right? And if healers aren't appreciated that much, then they may need to rebalance the game. So, and another thing with like it's a Chinese MMO, and I'm saying that because I don't how they are they going to take feedback from other regions about how to, when there's problems with the game, right? Because I really don't think China involves himself with listening to outside sources other than Chinese players. That's my pessimism towards Chinese devs, is that they listen to Chinese players, man, and then maybe Southeast Asia and Japanese players. But look, if you're a Westerner and you're playing these games nowadays, I really don't think, like, if you're global, European, you're from South America, North America, I don't think they listen to you. And I just like the feedback is just way too strange because you don't know, you have no idea if the Chinese devs are listening to you. So this is a game like if you're gonna play Blue Protocol and like you're gonna say type on forums and hey, there's a problem with this, there's a problem with that. Are they listening? I don't know. Maybe they'll fix bugs, but like as far as like player sentiment, like how the game is being progressed and how people feel about certain classes, maybe a class is underpowered or whatnot, like that's important for MMOs that gets through because like I said, it's a community game. An MMO is more about the community that interacts with the game than any other type of genre of video game, right? So, and you have that's another concern is that are the devs going to listen to player feedback outside of Southeast Asia, Japan, and China? Like global, it's notorious for like MMOs failing. It's hard, man, to launch an MMO nowadays. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't want to be pessimistic about it. It'll be fun, I'm sure. It looks fun. It looks decent, I would say. It looks a lot of the mechanics are like Final Fantasy 14 with the orange circles here, and the world bosses. They're mechanically they don't seem that interesting, um, but I haven't seen a lot of the game. I heard there's a raid at the end. I don't know how hard or difficult that raid is. I'm sure it's not that difficult, but you know, yeah. I mean, that's Blue Protocol. I mean, it's going to come out, I think, what, mid October or something like that. But yeah, um, I wish I got a beta key, but I did not. So yeah, that's unfortunate. So yeah, I mean, anyways, what else to say about the game? I mean, honestly, there's not much more to say about it, but I really think that I really think if anyone's going to play this game and they're a bit skeptical, just go in free to play, stay free to play. Like then if the devs announce like that they're going to have a roadmap of content and they're going to actually update the game and I think China's like a couple months ahead or something or a month and a half ahead of global. So all you have to do is just see how um, China's updating the game and if obviously the updates are going to roll out to global and then you can be like, oh well, I'll stick with the game or not, right? Like I said, I haven't even played the game. I don't know if the combat's going to be interesting enough long term, but I think you can switch classes and like play every class. I don't know, like Final Fantasy 14, where you can like switch classes and stuff. You don't have to change your character or create a new character or whatever. So I mean, yeah, so that'll be good. Like if you just get bored of one class, you just play another. And yeah, I mean, what else is to say about Blue Protocol? I don't know. Like, I wish I could play it, but there's a little bit of hype around it. I know Braxophone's been pushing it, and obviously Faw's playing here. He had 5K people watching him before, but now he doesn't. So I don't know what that was about. But yeah. Anyways, talk about UGC. Now, I play Genshin Impact. I won't be quitting Genshin Impact. I'll put it that way. I won't be quitting it, but I'm a little bit late on this, and I know a lot of people don't care about this game mode in particular. Now, people who are watching for Blue Protocol, thanks for watching, but I'm going to talk about Genshin Impact because that's my main game and I play mostly on this channel. And um, Genshin Impact. So, there's nothing to do right now in the game. I completed all the content, but I wanted to talk about um, the UGC. So, yeah, I'm a bit late, but basically, UGC is coming out before the end of this year. I'm expecting it's probably going to be in like 6.1 or 6.2, right at the very end of this year. Now, it didn't give us much info, right? but at least they gave us something. And I have some thoughts about what they gave us so far, right? But we'll talk about leaks too, because I mean, not really leaks, but there's I've seen dreams online. Okay, you can just say that, and um, I have some concerns, but as far as I haven't been making videos, all right. One of the reasons why is because I have to admit I started making a lot of videos for gotcha drama. Okay, so I was making a lot of gotcha drama content, and then I got burnt out, and then I just sort of like quit, and I just got tired of like Saint Tontus popped up on the scene, and I was like, I'm not gonna make content on this guy. He's a clown, right? And Wuthering Waves is just I don't I don't want to fight with Wuthering Waves players. I don't really care. So now I haven't been making videos. I quit most other gotchas except for Genshin, and I have been waiting for this mode. So I want to talk about this mode because now how is the community going to respond to the UGC? Well, from what we can already see, they have not responded well. Because frankly, they didn't give us much, right? Like, we're all assuming it's going to be like a more in-depth Divine Ingenuity event, and you could make like roguelite game modes. You can make like dungeons, like create your own dungeon crawler. I'm assuming you can adjust enemy stat lines and stuff like that, and then create like puzzles and whatnot in the dungeon. And hopefully it's in depth enough that it does look pretty in depth. It's way more in depth than Divine Ingenuity, that's for sure. Now we have to talk about why this is going to be a little bit of a controversy when it releases. Okay, so here it says you can make survival challenges, which would be kind of cool if you could make like a survival mode, like like Ark or something. Like, those survival games that I don't know many of the names of them, but like Ark and I can't even think of the names of any of them. But anyways, and then you can make like Labyrinth Warriors, like roguelite game modes, which would be pretty cool. I actually pretty am excited to see what you can build and what you can make, because I just hope it's good enough, and I hope there's a lot of creativity that comes out of this, and people are just interested in playing the stages that people make. Right? That'll be if this mode's successful, because there's not going to be a lot of creators, right? There's going to be a few, and Genshin has a large enough player base, but what really is going to determine if this mode is successful is if people are willing to play the stages that other people make, and if they're fun enough, right? And so with my channel, and I've said this from ever since the UGC mode got like announced or was posted on CN for there was advertisements for they were going to hire devs for this mode. I basically have decided that this is where I want my content for this channel to shift to, right? Because I quit Zenless Zone Zero, I quit Wuthering Waves, I quit Honkai Star Rail. I'm not going to play other gacha games because I don't want to spend money on gacha, right? Now, but I still I quit Zenless Zone Zero. I explained last time why I quit. It's not because I don't like the game. It's just I can only handle one gacha game, right? Because I can only dailies and FOMO. And Zenless Zone Zero is a good game, but it's just too much for me. Okay? We have a comment in the chat. I just wait for the Chinese wizard with their map creation. Yeah, there's going to be people who make like really creative shit out of this mode, right? And hopefully it's enough, and it's going to be fun enough. It's just got to be fun, right? That's the main thing, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like challenging. They've got to make just stuff that's like fun. and people want to do, right? And I think it will be, because when it comes down to it, it's just going to be another form. It's going to be way better than the teapot and way better than the TCG. But a lot of people are comparing this to the teapot and the trading card game in Genshin. And I want to say why they're somewhat right and they're also wrong. Okay, now let me explain. So you have to understand that people played Genshin. They did not play Genshin to play a card game. Okay, they did not play Genshin to build their own house and play, like real estate builder. Okay, they played Genshin because they wanted to play a open world RPG, action RPG, right, with characters and story and combat, and they want to focus on the combat. Now, that is totally valid. That is totally valid, and they're not wrong for that. Okay, and actually, I think it's a mistake that devs, what they do is they'll create game modes inside of a game, and they'll focus too hard on that game mode. Like, in my opinion, the TCG was a failure in Genshin because they focused too hard on it. Instead of it being a side game, a mini game, there was way too many cards. There's just way too many currency things, and like players to challenge in the open world, like NPCs and stuff. It's just way too extensive. Okay, so people got overwhelmed by the card game, and they're like, I didn't play Genshin for this. And they decided, I'm going to quit the TCG, which is totally valid. It's fine. That I would say it's one of Genshin's deserved criticisms for being a fumbled mode. Now, I heard the TCG is way more popular in China, and they don't mind it as much there. But I would say that the TCG is not good, because it's just because you did not advertise Genshin to be a card game. So you cannot expect players to engage with a card game when they did not sign up to play Genshin as a card game. They wanted an open world RPG with story elements and action combat with the elemental reaction system. That's what Genshin is to them. And that is perfectly valid to have. They don't like the teapot for the same reason. The teapot it has nothing to do with combat. It has nothing to do with the story. It has nothing to do with the open world, going around collecting stuff and lore and world building and stuff. That's not Genshin. Okay, it is. So the teapot and the TCG, totally valid to not like those things. I have to agree with the sentiment towards those modes. Okay, they're okay for people that like them, but they're just not popular, and they should not have ever been. Okay, like now but the UGC coming out, suffers the same fate. It will suffer the same criticism as the teapot and the TCG. Why is that? Well, because people didn't play Genshin for it to be like a Mario Maker game. They wanted a pre-built experience in this mode. They want the devs to make the content for them, and they don't want to make their own content. They don't care. Like, it's too tedious for them to build stuff, right? It's too time consuming. There's too much time to put in this kind of mode. It's just way too much, right? So you're going to hear a lot of people say, I've already seen comments online where they're like, this is a waste of dev time. They should not be doing this. They should scrap this whole thing. It's garbage. And just forget about it. Create other content. We want more end game. We want more characters. Fix the game. Why are they making UGC? Okay? So you're going to hear a lot of that. Are they correct? Yes and no. They're correct in a sense that they're they're okay to push back on this UGC mode. However, however, I think this in particular is way better than the card game or the teapot because it is actual game content. It's gameplay. You can create combat content, you can create dungeons, you can create gameplay, which is way more fun. And it's people. It's not a card game. Like yes, the card game is gameplay technically, but it's not a card game. People didn't play Genshin to play a card game. They played Genshin to play combat stuff and dungeon crawling and stuff like that, right? A lot of people like Labyrinth Warriors. Remember, that's an old event from a long time ago, back in Inazuma. And people were like, oh, yeah, bring back Labyrinth Warriors, right? But you can create. Honestly, I thought Labyrinth Warriors was kind of bad. It was kind of easy and it wasn't very interesting. Honestly, someone's going to make a way better Labyrinth Warriors with the UGC mode when it comes out, right? I'm going to try and make that's what I'm going to try and make. I'll say it now. This content I will be streaming a lot when this comes out. We're going to go full bore. We're going to go ham. I'm going to figure out how to make shit. We're going to make shit on stream and we're going to fucking get into this mode, okay? We're going to try and save this mode from being obsolete in the West, right? Because it'll probably take off in China, maybe in Japan, right? Chinese people are going to make a lot of crazy shit with this, right? But then I'm worried about this content in the West. It might go the way of the TCG or the Teapot, where like barely anyone engages with it. So what I'm going to do is when this game mode comes out, this is my content now. I'm just going to make custom dungeons, custom game modes. I'm going to post it, and yeah, just try and have fun with the fucking game because I have a feeling it's going to be more successful. But I have high hopes because, like I said, you can make content, right? It's not just going to be. I just think the teapot is not good enough for content. Like, there's nothing you do. Like, once you build your house, it's like you don't do anything. Just sit there and look at it, right? Which is, I didn't like. Speaking of housing in MMOs, I think it's stupid. We're just talking about Blue Protocol, and Final Fantasy 14 has housing, which is the same thing. Like, you build your house, you decorate the house, and you just look at it, and it's like, wow, I have a virtual house. No one cares. No one comes to my house. And it's like, it's just not good, man. I just don't think housing in games is good, right? It works better in an MMO because you have there's other people you can interact with, and like I said, it's role players in MMOs. They actually use stuff like that, like player housing. It actually because they role play in the game, right? But in a gotcha game like Genshin, housing like you can co-op with like one or two other people, but like it just does not work, and there's no point. This housing is basically yeah, you can make some cool looking houses, I'm pretty sure, but ultimately like there's no point in doing so, which again is just not. It's that's why the teapot failed. That's why the teapot failed in Genshin, and rightfully so, in my opinion. So, however, UGC, um, I think because they said it's going to be now some concerns. Okay, actually, you know what? I got to get some water because I don't really like yap a lot on stream, so my throat's dry. But I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water, and you watch the Blue Protocol, I guess. When I'll be right back. Whoops, I dropped my mouse there. Okay, I got some water. So, all right, hold on a sec. Okay, so the UGC. So what? Okay, so some concerns from what I've heard. Um, I've heard that. Let me pull up this. This is kind of the best picture in the whole thing here. Um, kind of shows like more of the mode and what you're getting. So, all right, I've heard about the UGC. This is a concern. All right, that you can't play with your characters, which will be, in my opinion, the single biggest mistake they would ever do if they created something like this. And now we don't know yet if you can't play with the characters you have on your account, right? We don't know. We have seen like a custom character, and the custom character, you can actually create different animations of that character. Like it looks like a Kaching type traveler that you can customize. You can have them swap elements in battle, which is why I don't think you'll be able to use your characters that you collected. But if that's true, it could be a very big disaster for this mode, because the people who play Genshin Impact, they're very attached to their characters and their account, right? And if this thing is separate and does not involve those characters, then it's going to be a disaster. It's really going to be a disaster for the mode overall. And it's unfortunate if that's the case, but I hope it isn't. And like we need to be able to play as the characters we've collected throughout the game, right? Over the past years we've been playing, right? However long we've been playing. And yeah, I mean, if you're going to make a custom dungeon, like if you're going to make, this Labyrinth Warriors type event, right, where you're going to have custom enemies and you're going to make quote unquote hard content, people are going to want to bring in their team to fight do this dungeon or whatever you're going to make in the UGC, right? And if it's relegated to, you can only use this like custom character that nobody cares about, they've never seen in the story, and it's just like this no name, it's this no name character that nobody cares about. Like I don't understand what. I think that's the biggest blow to the mode, and it might be so bad that it will turn people off. Now, I don't know. I think we might not be able to use our characters. And if that's the case, I don't think there's any saving this mode, right? Like, it'll be very niche. And I'll still play it. I'll still try and make content for it. But that will be the most devastating blow. Because there has to be a link to get people to play this mode. There has to be a link to their own accounts, right? If it's just a side separate thing, because that's what TCG and Teapot are. They don't really link to Genshin Impact, right? Like, yes, you can get trophies of like furnishings from different events and out in the wild and and completing certain things, and you can put it in your Teapot in Genshin, but the Teapot is still like this separate thing from the game. It's this like trophy collecting a zone, you could say, in Genshin, right? So there's a very like slim connection between the main game and Genshin that the Teapot provides. But the TCG Like it's just brought up, but like Sino talks about it in the story every once in a while, but there's no like actual connection to Genshin Impact, and that's why the TCG is not a beloved mode, especially I don't like I said I don't I guess in CN in China people still like TCG, but it's not widely beloved mode because it has no real connection to Genshin Impact, right? So the biggest devastation for the UGC mode is if there's no connection to our accounts. If we cannot use the Traveler, if we cannot use Kaya, Lisa, Amber, you know, or Mavwika, Ayaka, Hu Tao, right? If we can't use these characters in the UGC, it's a disaster, in my opinion. It's just a total disaster because you're basically saying to a large number of Genshin players, and there's so many Genshin players that are attached to their characters, and you're telling them you can't those characters you've built up for all these years, you have like the best Hu Tao or you have the best Ayaka or whatever, your favorite character, and we are releasing a new mode, and you can create all these cool dungeons and create all these cool game modes, and like you can have so much fun, but you can't use your characters, which to me, in my opinion, does not make any fucking sense. So hopefully, and I'm stressing this point, I don't know if it's true or not, but we haven't seen a confirmation of it yet. And I'm telling you right now that if the UGC does not allow us to use our characters from our account, this mode has a very high likelihood of failing. And I will try my best in order to create content for this mode. But I know right now, I can tell you right now that people will be so disinterested in this mode if they cannot use their characters. And I hope they realize this because you don't understand. Like if you it's just so easy to see that I don't know. I just hope that they allow us to use our characters. We don't know yet. I'm sure we might find out this Friday a little bit more. Probably not till like 6.1 live stream. We might hear a lot more. But I'm not expecting anything. Like Friday is going to be mostly about Not Krai, right? And I think they're going to save this for 6.1. They're going to talk a lot more about it. And then I think the latest they could release this is like what? 6.0 is September 10th. And then what, 42 days after that is, so like mid-October is 6.1. And then, yeah, this could be released in December, like 6.2. So, because that's still before 2026, right? And yeah, so we might not hear about this till like 6.2. What's it called? Live stream, unfortunately. Because if they're planning to release it in 6.2, which would still be before 2026, because they said they're going to roll it out before the end of the year, then yeah, we're not going to know much more. But hopefully they see that we should be able to use our characters. And yeah, anyways, I know a lot of people are not too interested in this mode right now. Not Cry, a lot of people are going to be all right with it, and they're going to be preoccupied with Not Cry and everything that comes in the story and whatnot. I heard the story is like they're making the story a lot longer in Not Cry. Like they're going to make it what's it called? They're going to make it like 9 hours or something, which is okay because I think it's okay to have a longer story as long as it's done well. And they're incorporating the character stories now with like how it's going to be like Inefa, and it's going to be the Archon quest, but there's also going to shove in Flynn's and Llama's story. So, I don't know. It could be bad because that's what HSR does, and I really don't think it's it could be bad, but I think Genshin writers do fine with it because Inefa's story was like the Archon prelude, which I don't think was um it felt more like Inefa's story quest than a prelude quest. So yeah, we'll see. But people are going to be preoccupied with not Krai, right? So they're not really going to be thinking about the UGC. But for the future of my content, when the UGC comes out, I'm going to just stream and figure out like a streaming schedule. And fuck Twitch ads. I hate Twitch ads. And then yeah, just I'm gonna try and like salvage the mode because I don't know if we can use our characters. Then I'm hopeful, but if we can't, then I'm just. It can go either way, right? I'm not hopeful for the mode if we can't use our characters. Uh, but I'll still, even if we can't use our characters, I will still make content on the mode and like go as hard as I can. And just we'll just have like chill streams where I'm like making new fucking shit and like seeing the systems and like how I can make new dungeons and whatnot. And yeah, we're just gonna like chill out and create new content with the UGC when it comes out. And yeah, just see how far like the system can take us. Um, with like designing maps and whatnot. So and then Blue Protocol supposedly is coming out mid October. So probably around like 6.1 Genshin, right? And we don't know exactly. Someone was saying like could be November when Blue Protocol comes out, which would be a lot better. If it releases like early November, I think that would be pretty good. But man, this should have just been an open beta. I just feel like it being a closed beta when it's already out in China is just kind of whack, honestly. Um, but yeah, uh, I don't know, man. I just think the UGC. I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried. But like I said, if we can use our characters, I am hopeful. I'm actually positive. I'm like the UGC will kick off. It will be a very very good thing for Genshin. But if we cannot use our characters, it has a very very high likelihood it will flop. And if the devs don't see that and they're like stubborn, because it's a gotcha game, right? Like the, I feel like they want to like make the UGC mode balanced, so that's why they won't let us use our characters. They'll only make us let us use that custom character, and it's just a mistake, right? But it's just like a gotcha game, right? It's like it's hard to tell, right? Because a gotcha game hasn't really done something like this, I don't think, where they made like a Mario Maker game mode and it's like extensive where you can create your own game content. So it'll be a kind of like a first, right? Um, oh, we got chat. We got chat. Have you seen the Gamecom trailer? Hey, Foxhole, what's up? I was just talking about Blue Protocol. I did not get a beta key. I wish I did, but yeah, they ran out. I'm pretty sure the closed beta. I think it's only like 10 days or something. But I just wanted to play. I wanted to stream and just talk about Blue Protocol mostly because I played a lot of MMOs in my gaming. I wouldn't call it career, but like gaming life. I played a lot of MMOs, right? So I wanted to give Blue Protocol a try, and can't get a key. I'm too small a creator to. I mean, look, I haven't created videos in. I got off the gotcha drama train, and I just made a couple videos here and there. Um, so I haven't really been making content that much, but I thought I'd stream and talk about Blue Protocol, give my findings on the state of the game because I know a lot about MMORPGs, and the game looks okay. It's just I fear for the longevity of the game, and it, I haven't heard much about like content updates, what their like roadmap is, because uh MMOs usually have a roadmap if they decide to like, if you know they're going to be a long term thing, they're going to be like, hey, we're going to release raids every so often and like have boss fights in dungeons and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the game looks okay. I mean, there's a little bit of buggy. It looks pretty glitchy, right, from what I'm looking here. It's a little glitchy in the overworld, whatever that ability is. Um, but I mean, I guess they can fix that kind of stuff. But honestly, for an MMO, like the fact that this open world boss isn't lagging as much as it could be, it's actually a good sign. Like this looks like kind of hectic and chaotic and laggy, but I've seen far worse in MMOs, like way worse. Like MMOs are notorious for having bad open world boss fights, and yeah, the fact that this is like running fairly well is actually a good sign, like a really good sign. So it's not all doom and gloom for the game. Like it looks like fairly well optimized, and I just wish I could play it because I just want to like get in there and like test out the classes and shit and see if the combat's fun, um, and the mechanics and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I just mostly streamed that for now and I talked a little about Genshin UGC. I agree, should have been open, but I'm sure they will make an open beta soon though. Well, if the release date is October 15th, a lot of people were saying October 15th, mid October, is when it's not confirmed, but there was like a quote unquote like Apple Store leak or something. I don't know. And so they're assuming it's going to release mid October. Will they do an open beta? I guess they could do one in like September, to like test the server stress. That's usually what open betas are for, is server stress testing. So I mean, a lot of people want to get into the closed beta, so there's like a decent amount of hype around the game right now, which is good. It's a good sign, right? It's just it's good when an MMO gets like initial hype because that helps the game get good word of mouth, and especially since it's a free to play game, it's a free to play MMO, then you can like invite your friends to play with no consequence, right? Like to just install the game. That's basically it. And I heard it runs on like crappy computers, which is very good for an MMO, right? That's why World of Warcraft was so successful. That's one of the secrets of World of Warcraft's success over the decades is that game ran on garbage PCs, like just trash. Like if you had a bad PC, you could run WoW, right? And granted, the game doesn't look that good, but it really ran on its art style, right? Like it's cartoony art style, right? So it kind of hid the bad graphics. And this game doesn't look very graphically demanding, obviously. Like, look, Fob says he thinks this game looks better than Final Fantasy 14. He only says that because he likes anime. He doesn't like Final Fantasy's art style. But this game does not look that good, okay? I'm going to be honest. I'll be brutally honest. This game does not look that good. Like graphically, it's fine. Like it has an art style and it hinges on the art style, but like graphically, it's not like super intense. And that's a good thing for an MMO, right? Like I'll say that again. So it doesn't look that bad either. Like it's not terrible. Like I think WoW nowadays is all right, but like WoW back in 2007, it just looked bad, right? It just didn't look very good. But it's an old game, right? It's old now. WoW is fucking ancient at this point. So, anyways, if this game runs on crappy PCs, that's good because then a lot of people will be able to play it. And like I said, it's not gonna attract the role players, but it's going to attract the people who just want to grind content, kill bosses, do raid boss shit, do dungeons, collect the cosmetics, gear up their characters and whatnot. And that's a lot of gacha game players already, right? They do that shit in gacha games alone, right? So if they're doing it in an MMO, it's the same thing. That's why I feel like gacha games and MMOs, um, like a lot of people who used to play MMOs and they got tired of them, they kind of went over to Genshin, went over to Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, because honestly, those kind of have similar gearing systems, and a lot of the systems are similar to MMOs. And because I used to play MMOs for a long time, I played MMOs, like I said, since 2001. Dark Age of Camelot. I played I played old WoW, back in 2005, 2006. And so I come from MMORPGs, right? And then I got tired of them, right? And then I picked up Genshin, and then I started playing um, Genshin, and then I played Honkai Star Rail, and I played Wuthering Waves. But the gotcha got to me. And I couldn't really get into the gotcha aspects and the FOMO, so that shit got to me. But gotcha games really are like single player MMOs when you really look at them closely, because they have the gearing aspect, right? You got to level your characters. They have all those RPG elements. So the fact that it's kind of like a smooth transition, it like gotcha players to Blue Protocol, it'll kind of be like a smooth transition, in my opinion, if the game goes well, right? Um, and but like I said, it one thing gotcha players have started. I think it started with Genshin, is that they really try and look for good stories in gotcha games, and there's a lot more critique about the story. Because I know gotcha games for a long time has just been about like your favorite character and collecting your favorite character, and it still is, right? But a lot of people care about the story of those characters now, right? And MMOs, they are, you know, in the past they've been notoriously not good for their story, but it's sort of changed with Final Fantasy 14. So I don't know if this game is going to capture the story audience that kind of rose in the past, half decade with the gotchas. Like gotcha communities care more about the story now. So I don't know. I mean, I think FGO. I don't know much about like FGO, but I guess FGO I heard has a good story. I didn't really get into it, but yeah. So I don't know if this game will capture the story audience. But you just said Wua, the best game over Elden Ring. Yeah. Well, I quit Wuthering Waves. I quit a while ago. Unfortunately, it's my most viewed video, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's just gotcha drama, right? And um, but yeah, I mean, I try not to. I was thinking about making a video about gotcha drama and like why it's pointless, and I might make a video like that. But we'll see. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't really have like Wuthering Waves. It was not enough, I guess. And I guess at that point I was kind of getting tired of like all the gotcha games I was playing, because I think I was playing three at the time. I was playing Zenless, Wuthering Waves, and Genshin. And then it was like just way too much dailies and um what the hell is this? Dailies, weeklies, and like FOMO events, right? Because like when I play a game, I don't want to miss out on the events and shit. And then it's like you gotta do them within a time limit, otherwise they're gone, and you miss out on the rewards. But like Zenless Zone Zero, the reason why I quit, because you play Zenless Zone Zero now, right? I remember you used to play Wuthering Waves, but you play Zenless Zone Zero now, and I only quit Zenless Zone Zero not because I don't like the game, but because it's just the FOMO. It's just the dailies and the weeklies and having to do Hollow Zero every week, right? And on top of like Genshin, and on top of like I got into the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering set that came out in June, right? So that's what I was playing a lot of too. So it was like, and then it was summer, so I was trying to get out for the summer, and it was like there's just too much going on, and I was like, I gotta drop one of these games, right? And I kind of don't play Magic the Gathering much anymore either. So, um, I just wanted to like go out for the summer more, and I was like, man, this is too much FOMO. But I still think Xenophone Zero is one of the better gotchas, and it's one of I like Xenophone Zero. I like Genshin and Xenophone Zero. Those are my two games, my two gotchas that I stuck with. But I eventually just said I'm just going to play Genshin because I mean I like Genshin more. It's just the what I like about Genshin more is just the I like the fantasy genre more than the city life Xenophone Zero type aesthetic. I guess I'm not really into like that as much as I am the fantasy genre. But Zenless is still a good game, man. Like I still think it's good. I I, I don't know what's happening now in the game. I know there's a bunch of. I didn't really dig the. I didn't really dig Xenophone Zero's 2.0 trailer when I saw it. Like this just didn't. It wasn't really my thing, I guess. But I'll tell you, I will go back to Xenophone Zero. I will log in and reinstall the game if they ever have a collab with Street Fighter, because I know they had at the beginning. They had the Street Fighter collab, but it wasn't really a collab. It was just like them talking with the devs. But if they add like a Street Fighter character to Xenophone Zero, I will come back to the game and get that character because it's probably going to be one of the iconic characters. And Street Fighter is like a boomer franchise that like it's just nostalgic for me, right? So I will play Xenophone Zero again if they do a collab like that. Honestly, the Wuthering Waves collab with Cyberpunk, um, that is more interesting to me than the HSR because I don't know anything about Fate, right? And and I heard the Fate collab was kind of a disaster. I mean, I don't know anything about it, but um, like the event wasn't that great or something. I don't know, but like I don't know anything about Fate, so that's why it didn't really interest me. And that's kind of the thing with collabs in general is um was this an old well this is WoW, right? Uh yeah. Yeah, this is I mean this is MMOs, man. This is MMOs. Anyways, what we're watching on Bob's stream right now. But but yeah, like that's the thing with collabs in general is that if it's not a collab you're interested in, then it's like it's not really going to pull you back into the game. Um so yeah, like if Zenless Zero does like a collab with something I'm not really interested in, I don't know. I don't know if I'll. I mean, I started playing Nikkei. I only played Nikkei for like a month just to like check out the game, and I played Nikkei because they had the Near Automata collab. But I like got 2B and I got A2 from the Near collab, and then I'm like I'm done because I just didn't like Nikkei as a game. So so yeah, collabs are just like kind of hit or miss, right? And Genshin has I don't even consider Aloy to be a collab. It was just trash, man. Nobody likes Aloy in Genshin. I mean, I guess there's like a few people, a dozen people do or something, but Aloy was not a collab. It was kind of crap. And so I don't even consider that a collab. I think it was just Sony. Sony forced Aloy into the game, right? Which is, yeah. But it's one of the worst. It's one of the worst in any gotcha. I'll admit that for sure. Like, Aloy sucks. Man. So, um, but yeah, like Wuthering Waves. Honestly, I want to see what the Cyberpunk thing is. I don't know if I'll come back and play the game for the Cyberpunk collab, but I just want to see how that goes. Um, I have a gripe with flying. That's why I wasn't really. Oh God, I don't know. Okay, I'm getting ads now, but um, I have a gripe with flying in open world games. I think flying sucks. I don't like it. I think it ruins the game when it comes to open world traversal, because a good open world game is supposed to be a platforming game. Like, essentially, the best open world games are giant platformers in the that have a giant map. You know what I mean? Like platformers, like you have to figure out how to get to a certain point by a puzzle, right? Like you, or doors are locked because you can't fly over them, or you know what I mean? It's like you need to figure out how to get past certain points of the map and open it up. And that's what I don't like about flying. So when Wuthering Waves, when I quit Wuthering Waves before Rinascita came out, and when I found out that they were going to put flying in the game, I was like, oh, I'm glad I quit, because I don't like unlimited flying. And I know I'm in the minority, because a lot of people like flying and they like skipping they like skipping the overworld map. They think it's pointless and they just feel like it's tedious, busy work, which I disagree with. But that's another reason why I'm in the minority. But um, I just think that flying is not good. And it actually comes from MMORPGs. Now that we're talking about them, it kind of relates to MMOs, because World of Warcraft introduced flying with the Burning Crusade expansion back in 2006 or 2007. And when they introduced flying into World of Warcraft, it kind of made the open world irrelevant, right? Like it kind of, you just didn't, it took a lot of the danger out of the map, right? And I feel like that's the issue with a lot of open world games, is that they take the danger aspect out of the map. Um, Actually, Gotcha Smack had a video on it recently, and what's funny is because he was talking about the danger aspect in his video, the Gotcha Smack video, and I agree with it. Like, I agree with what he said there, except he didn't bring up flying in that video. The Gotcha Smack, he didn't bring up flying, and I think flying is an issue because it allows devs to be lazy. It allows them to put in vast swaths of empty space that you fly over and you don't think about, right? Instead of creating a compact game world with um, with puzzles and traversal and things to do and interact with. Instead, what flying does is the world map becomes a set piece that you fly through, and not a game world that you interact with, if you can understand what I'm saying. And that's why I think flying is bad in all open world games. Now, when I say by flying, I mean unlimited flight. Because when you have unlimited flight, or very lengthy flight periods that you can just skip certain things around the map, then it's just not good. Because, like I said, it's just like gliding is fine, because gliding, you can run out, especially with stamina, right? You run out, you can't reach an elevated area with gliding, obviously. But and then to get to a certain place with gliding, it takes, you have to figure out, you have to jump from a high point to begin with, right? So you're not elevating. But with flight, it's very nuanced, but a lot of people miss the nuance. And Zenless Zone Zero doesn't have this problem, obviously, because it's not an open world game. It's just a city hub game, right? But I think flight ruins MMOs, and it ruins open world games, right? And I think I just don't like it. But a lot of people like flying in MMOs, right? And they like flying in Wuthering Waves, right? I heard Wuthering Waves is dropping flying in the next region. I don't know if that's true. I think it is. They said they're not going to focus on flight, and you can already hear people complaining. They're like, because flying is essentially the cat's out of the bag, right? It's you're opening up the player base to transportation. You're giving them the golden key, and so once you take it away, now they feel like they lost something, right? And that's why I don't think adding unlimited flight is ever a good thing. Because to yeah, I just it reduces game worlds to set pieces. And that's what happened with World of Warcraft. And then that's honestly one of the reasons why I got tired of playing MMOs, is because their open worlds in MMOs are just they are set pieces to look at, and they're not like interactive maps to plan out your your journey, right? Like old MMOs, like if you look into Final Fantasy 11, not a very popular MMO, but if you look into Final Fantasy 11, you'll hear a lot of the old players who played that game say that it had the best map, because the map in Final Fantasy 11 was so dangerous to go around, because like there'd be just high level mobs that can kill you, and it was just so dangerous to traverse, right? So everywhere you went in the game, you had to plan, right, before you left the city. Like, okay, guys, we're gonna go to this spot, and we're gonna travel by foot, and then we can't take our mounts in there because it's a dungeon, right? And you couldn't bring mounts into dungeons and stuff, right? So you had to plan your trip, and because the world was so dangerous. And that's what a lot of MMOs and a lot of open world games forego nowadays, and they don't want that in their game, which I think is a mistake. It just makes the games less interesting, in my opinion. I really think all open world games should have a sense of danger. I think that's the most important thing that open world games are missing nowadays. Like obviously like games like Elden Ring, the danger is there. And that's why it's a good game. I think a lot of people don't understand is Elden Ring and Dark Souls games became popular because of the danger factor, right? Like it's dangerous to go places, and you're fighting mobs, and there's like a real threat, right? So you're always focused on the game, right? Whereas with like these MMOs nowadays, the easy gotcha games, you're not really thinking that hard, because you're not worried about your character dying or losing progress, or like there's no danger, right? So I hope I don't think it'll change, because just there's so many casual players of these games, and they don't want that, right? They don't play for that, and it's kind of like it's a dev um, damned if you do, damned if you don't type situation, where if you make a game that's dangerous to traverse, you're basically telling the casual players that they got to get good, right? You guys got to get good if you want to progress your casual story, right? Because a lot of these casual players, they play for the story, right? And they play for world immersion, and they play. Oh, she rated someone else. Those slices on. I don't know. But anyways, the reason why I'm watching Fob again is because I don't have a beta key. If I had a beta key, I'd be playing this game and not yapping about it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get closed beta access. I wish I could again. But but yeah, like these open world games, they forego the danger, and MMOs. I don't think this game world looks dangerous as well. Blue Protocols. Aside from the world bosses, but that's not something you can solo, right? You have to bring the server has to come together to fight the boss, right? And so, but I think it's a mistake. I think there should be some danger. There should be dangerous areas in the open world. Not every area should be dangerous, um, but yeah, like I said, it's just the casual players. They don't want to get good, right? They just want to do their story quest. They don't want to think about they might go out in the open world and die, and then they have to like run back and waste a bunch of time, and they get annoyed by that shit, right? So that's why video games they became a lot easier over the last, however many years, like once the mainstream started playing games. I think World of Warcraft brought in a lot of mainstream gamers, quote unquote. It's just funny because World of Warcraft was one of those games. Since we're on the topic of MMOs and Blue Protocol, um, World of Warcraft was a breakout game in that there was, before World of Warcraft, playing video games, you were like a hyper nerd, right? Like you were shunned. Like, oh, you play video games? I mean, only losers play video games. I know a lot of people, maybe they're young and they're a little bit younger and they don't remember that age, but back in the 90s, like uh, early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, if you played video games, you were a nerd. Like you, like, I mean, nowadays you're still a nerd if you play games to a lot of people, but it's just more accepted as a thing to do, right? Like people just play games casually to like waste fucking time, right? But that was before World of Warcraft. And World of Warcraft, when that came out, it basically captured the mainstream audience. It was the COVID Genshin game. Like, you know how COVID buffed Genshin to becoming like this massive game that like hundreds of millions of people started playing? And that was, Genshin is essentially the modern day World of Warcraft. Because back in 2004, World of Warcraft did the same thing. Like, it was just it wasn't a COVID era, but it was like a gaming revolution. That's what World of Warcraft was. It captured people from all over the world. China was, I don't know when World of Warcraft hit China, but whenever it did, it was massive, right? Because, they've always like Blizzard stuff like StarCraft and Warcraft 3 over there, I guess. And so then when World of Warcraft came out, it was just massive everywhere. So, and it just blew up in popularity. You could say the game is not that good and it's old now and whatever, but WoW back then was just the game to play. And it brought the mainstream into playing video games, right? And it was just, I remember because I was back then, it was, after World of Warcraft, you started to see a slow shift in the mainstream sentiment towards gamers, right? And how people played video games. Because those people who said you were a nerd for playing video games, well, now they can't say that anymore because they play WoW, right? They play World of Warcraft. They play video games. And they realize, oh shit, this is fun, right? I can actually play a fucking video game and it's fun. So World of Warcraft kind of changed the gaming landscape. It was a major shift, right? So, so it was that game where you're playing. It changed everything basically. In the gaming landscape, and it was just such a massive success, right? And it was an MMO. And then what happened later on? I'm kind of going through the history of MMOs, if you could tell, because I was there for like I was on board that train when, and then every publisher was like, "Oh shit, WoW is this massive fucking success." So every other publisher was like trying to copy, and trying to get a piece of the pie, right? Because that's what happens with all these, businesses now is they see success and they're like, we got to get in on it, right? So what happened was they, what was it? Guild Wars 2 was like, okay, we're going to make Guild Wars 2, and then there was Final Fantasy 14, which flopped, the first iteration, right before Realm Reborn. And then there was Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars, where BioWare, EA, or I don't know, I think it was just BioWare at the time, they wanted to get in on it, right? Knights of the Old Republic. And then there was just like the age of the MMO, right? Where everyone was trying to make the next big MMO. And they all couldn't figure it out. They couldn't figure out why WoW was so successful, why World of Warcraft was the fucking king shit, and why they couldn't get a piece of the pie. And it really mimics, if you look at Genshin Impact, it kind of mimics the same situation, right? Where these gacha games are like, why can't we get a fuck? Why can't we beat Genshin Impact? Why can't we kill the Genshin killer? Do you want? It's so fucking ironic, okay, guys. It's so ironic. It's literally the same thing because you know what they said back then. The next WoW killer, the next World of Warcraft killer, was this next MMO that was going to come out, right, and kill WoW. You know what you hear nowadays? The next Genshin killer. When's the next Genshin killer? It's history repeating itself, but with a different game, right? So Genshin became this like breakout success, and then all these other gacha companies were like, "We got to make a Genshin, right? We got to make this open world game. We got to make, there was Tower of Fantasy. Tower of Fantasy it's going to crush Genshin, like, and then Wuthering Waves. It's going to come in. It's going to bury Genshin. Genshin's going to fucking literally die, like." And then you look at the revenue charts and you're like, why the fuck is Genshin still making money? And they're baffled. Like, why isn't Genshin dead yet? It's literally the same situation. So back then it's just funny, right? How that happens, right? And history kind of repeats itself. Yo, Tension, what's up? I've been alright. I've just been so I haven't been making content because I live in Canada. The summer is short, and I kind of just wanted to like live the summer, like go outside more, not think about like grinding out content for the summer and like switching up what I'm going to make for content in my channel and figuring out like I don't really want to do gotcha drama anymore. So we just talked a lot about Blue Protocol because I wanted to get in on the beta. I couldn't, so I just wanted to stream and like talk about the game. I think I'll play this game for a little bit. It'll be fun for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be like, a breakout success, like I was saying earlier in the stream. But yeah, I just been like this summer, man. It's so short in Canada, and the winters are so cold and so long. Like it's 5 to 6 month winters. So I was like, this summer I just want to like relax and not like go too hard on staying inside and making videos all day. So yeah, just been like, touching grass, basically touching grass. And yeah, so we're just talking about MMOs and shit because Blue Protocol, it's got some decent hype around it right now. I think Fob's just grinding world bosses. I don't know. I guess that's pretty much what he's been doing the whole time, right? But yeah, just like thinking about, I'm gonna focus on Genshin UGC because they announced that. I was gonna make a video on it, but I sort of just talked about it a little bit on stream now because basically the content on my channel going forward is when the UGC comes out in Genshin, I'm just going all in and I'm just gonna just make dungeons and shit and make game modes for people to play because I've been waiting for it all this time, right? Starmie's playing. But yeah, it's just been going slow, just kind of figuring out like where I'm going to go next with content. And basically I figured it out is the Genshin UGC thing and see how that goes. I've been playing, I did all the content in Genshin right now. Like I have everything completed. Stygian came out. Stygian, I realized I wasn't as good as Genshin that I thought I was when Stygian came out because you can swipe and beat Stygian Onslaught, but you can do it with like lower tier characters too, right? Like you can beat Dire. I was focusing on Dire, like Fearless and Stygian is not that hard, but it kind of made the Abyss too easy. Like Spiral Abyss is way too easy for me now. Like after playing Stygian Onslaught for and beating Dire, I beat both Dire, not 180 seconds, but like 350 seconds or whatever. So I got the base skins, the 4-star skins, but I beat it with C0R1 Kinich, C0R1 because that's what my account has mostly for like power level, and just like figuring out Stygian Onslaught when that came out, it kind of changed my focus on like I kind of lost interest in making Abyss clear videos because I was like, I don't know, man, Abyss is so easy now compared to Stygian. So, um, but it's been all right. Like Dire's been pretty fun. Like Genshin has like actual end game content now. I remember years ago people was like, oh, it's only the Abyss, right? But now we have actual, and then they're gonna add they're adding more floors in Imaginary Theater. So it's Imaginary Theater is gonna be like a character check, way more than it already is. So Genshin has content, right? Nod Cry is coming out, looks good. People are excited for Nod Cry. Um, I'm gonna be playing Nod Cry when it comes out. I don't think I'll stream it, but like what I want to do, I think that's the content I like streaming too. Is I don't like streaming story content, right? Because I just I like going at a slow pace during the story, and then like when you're streaming story content, like doing reactions to story, it's like you gotta like keep going, otherwise it's just not gonna be a good stream. And but when the UGC comes out, when that mode comes out in Genshin, then I'm gonna start streaming a lot more, and we're going to make dungeons, we're going to make custom game modes, and we're going to post that shit. And I want people to play it because that's the point, right? Because there's going to be a lot of creators, but I hope there's going to be a lot of players who are interested in playing and engaging in the content, right? Because that's if I'm going to make stuff and no one's going to play it, that's going to hurt the mode. It's going to hurt the community around that mode, right? So they have a lot of work to do, and uh, like I said earlier in the stream, one of the major concerns I have with Genshin UGC mode is that we won't be able to use our own characters, which is a giant mistake. So that's my major concern. Hopefully we can. But yeah, that's going to be the content I'm going to be doing on the channel, and that's basically like the future. In the title of this stream is that's going to be focusing on. I will play this game though, Blue Protocol. I will play and stream this, and yeah, I'll just do that. That'll be my content going forward. I prefer streaming. Like I don't mind making videos like every once in a while. When I make a video, it'd probably be like the long form videos, like the Nod Cry analysis that I made months ago now, which is terrible. I haven't posted that much, but I prefer making like longer form videos like that and like putting everything into one video and talking about a lot of things instead of just releasing like shorter videos every once in a while. But we'll see. But when this game comes out, I'm gonna stream it. We're gonna play the shit out of it, and we're gonna have like chill streams, and bullshit around basically. And I'm gonna stream on YouTube because fuck, nobody watches. Nobody will watch me on Twitch. I don't know, and I don't want to get too far into it. I'll just stream on YouTube. Uh, but yeah, and this game will last a while, I guess. I don't know. I might be a healer in Razor Ninja's team, and because he needs a healer, and I said I'd heal for him. And Razor Ninja might be playing with Braxophone, but I don't know who Brax is gonna bring. If they do like end game raids and shit, then I might be in like a big streamer team. I don't know, because I told Razor Ninjas, I said I'll be a sole musician in this game, and I'll be because that's like a healer class, right? That's the healer class, which a lot of people don't like playing healers, but I'll do it because I barely play healers in MMO, so I'll do it because I like try something new, and it'll be kind of cool. So if Razor Ninja's like, okay, you'll be the healer, he's gonna fucking wail on this game. He says he's gonna drop 5K, which is stupid. I don't know why he's gonna do it, but he just likes blowing cash. So he's gonna blow 5K on Blue Protocol when it drops. When the launch, I don't know, it's like mid October. That's the rumor when it's coming out. But Yeah, so if he wants me to be in his healer team, and we're gonna do like end game rating content and shit like that, then yeah, I'm down to play Blue Protocol, and we'll see what we can do. And I'll stream a lot more. Um, I hear you, man. Whatever you do, hoping the best for you. Thanks, Tension. Thanks, bro. Waiting for Arknight's Enfield. Yeah, Enfield. Ah, UGC content makes sense. That'd be fun to watch and participate in. Yeah, basically, I'll just be like streaming the. I'll be streaming like the designs, right? And then I'll make like a short video on YouTube, and I'll be like, "Hey, this is the dungeon or whatever this dungeon thing, and you want to go play it? Here's the," and I'll have like a little preview of the dungeon and shit in the video. But I won't post like the how to beat it and whatnot. So that'll be the content, and then I'll play this game. I'll play Blue Protocol. We'll stream that, and Arknight's Enfield. Man, it looks like high quality, but I'm gonna be honest. I know I'm talking about UGC, but there's something about the base building I'm not really into in Arknight's Enfield, because I feel like it's just like base building because you got to collect resources, which like leads to more base building, and it's not really that customizable, right? Like you're not actually. That's what's different about the UGC mode in Genshin is like you're actually creating battle content or like dungeons and like Mario Maker shit. Like I prefer the Mario Maker aspect where you're creating like Divine Ingenuity was my favorite event in Genshin, and basically what the UGC mode is just an expanded Divine Ingenuity. So with Arknight's Enfield, even though it looks like a high quality gotcha, that's not really my thing. I don't think. I don't think. And like I said, the FOMO is what's killing me in gotcha games. It's basically what killed gotcha games for me is the um, keeping up with the events. And I've been playing Genshin for 5 years. I haven't missed an event in Genshin once. I have every single quest and event like done. So it was like it's a little bit of like sunk cost, but I still enjoy Genshin. That's why it's not like it's sunk cost, but it's like investment. You know what I mean? Like if you still enjoy the game, then it's not really a sunk cost, in my opinion. You're just invested into the game. So I still enjoy Genshin, and it's the only gotcha game that I want to keep up with like FOMO, right? Where I want to like missing an event and like missing Primogem or missing rolls and pulls and daily commissions, weekly shit. That was all getting to me, especially with doing. At one point, I was playing Wuthering Waves, Zenless, and Genshin all at the same time. So I was doing all that shit in 3 games, and it was like way too much. And then I dropped Wuthering Waves, and then I realized I don't want to do it in. I only want to do it in 1 game, right? So this Blue Protocol, I heard there's a stamina, but it caps out at 5 days, so you don't have to log in every day. I mean, you have to do like dailies and shit in Blue Protocol, but you you don't have to log in every single day in this game. So I'm hoping that'll like that'll be good because at least for me is because I don't want to grind all the time, right? So obviously when the game first comes out, I'll be grinding it a lot. But like yeah, man, just the like Arknight's Enfield, I don't know. I don't know. I was thinking of playing Neverness to Everness, but then again, it's like, man, do I really want to pick up more gotcha games to play? I don't know. I think the reason why I like Blue Protocol, it feels there is gotcha elements and stuff, but it feels more like an MMO, right? Where you can grind a lot and then you can like put it down for a couple days, right? And then you can grind a lot and then pick it back up. Whereas like gotcha games, it feels like they want you to play all the time, right? Every day, a couple times a day, or you know, like putting it down for a long time is not really gonna help your account or whatever. So yeah, yeah. If I was just grinding fucking world bosses and shit, so yeah. Oh man, Twitch ads. I hate Twitch ads, man. Fuck. Anyways, yeah, I've done everything in Genshin right now. I've completed. The only thing I don't have completed in Genshin is like a bunch of hidden achievements. I don't have. I have like 1,430 achievements, which is a lot, but I think you can get up to like 1,550. So there's like I'm missing like over 100 hidden achievements, but I don't want to like grind that shit out, man. That's just like 5 primo gems here and there, and it's like you got to go through this whole fucking list of hidden achievements that I've missed over the 5 years, and I don't want to go through it. So, um, but everything else in Genshin I've like basically completed. I did it. Every single story quest, um, every single region of the map is like complete. So yeah, I don't want to. I'm basically done with Genshin. That's what I like. I like have downtime, right? I don't have to worry about doing other shit in another gotcha game because um I'm gonna miss an event or something. Right now I don't have anything to play, which I like that because I can like do other shit, like go outside, right? You know what I mean? And like touch grass. I know it's weird for a lot of people. Uh, I'm a bit sick of open world stuff, so Arknights is kind of maybe a Zen, and maybe Zenless just works for me, and I don't feel forced to log in every day. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for me, it's like I guess I have like I don't like missing shit in, especially when I like play a gotcha game from day one, because the big four I played from day one, right? Genshin I played day one of release. Honkai Star Rail I played day one. Zenless Zone Zero I played day one, and Wuthering Waves I played day one of release, right? So when I was playing the games, when I was playing even Honkai Star Rail, I never missed an event until I quit, right? I never missed. I may have missed like 1 or 2 days of logging in, just like because I forgot. But like I never missed a major event in Honkai Star Rail, and then I quit in 2.2 because I just wasn't vibing with the game, right? And then when I was playing Zenless or Wuthering Waves, same thing. I never missed an event. I did, except for like web events. I'll miss web events because I can't be bothered to fucking keep up with web events, but because they're usually like dog shit for rewards. Like you get like fucking 20 primos or some shit, and or 20 gems or whatever you call it. So like web events, I don't really care about. I've missed a lot of. I think I've missed a lot of web events in Genshin, right? Even though I've completed most like I've completed all major events in Genshin, but I've missed web events for sure. There's been a ton I've missed because I just don't really give a fuck about web events. But when I play a gotcha game from day one, I have a hard time like saying to myself, "Okay, I'm gonna stop playing for a week and then pick it back up," because I know I've like missed an event, I missed a weekly, I missed a whole bunch of fucking dailies and then I'm missing currency and like missing an event. It's like, well, you're never gonna get that weapon again, right, or something, right? Because you, I think in HSR there was the tutorial mission light cone they had at the start. I don't know. I heard you can get it now. I don't know if that's true, but it was one of those FOMO weapons, right? Where it was like decent for Silver Wolf, even though she's garbage now. And nobody knew back then how bad Honkai Star Rail power creep would be. But it bothers me when I play a gotcha game that I would miss something like that permanently, right? And I think that's it's a double edged sword. Honestly, I'm one of those players that um, it's designed to keep you hooked and make sure you don't miss it. But if you do miss it, for me, I'm the type of player where it's like, ah, shit. Well, if it's important enough and it's never coming back, it's like it really de-incentivizes me to keep playing that gotcha game, right? So, um, like I could say, like in Genshin, I know a lot of people they started playing after getting Festering Desire, and that's an old weapon from Dragonspine event with Albedo, right? And so they don't have Festering Desire, right? And for me, it was like I used that weapon a lot actually on Farina. I did at one point. Now Favonius Sword is just way better because fucking Stygian is the main end game, and Favonius weapons are just goddamn broken now. They're like that's another thing about Genshin that I really like is that 4-star weapons are just fucking cracked for some reason. But I used Festering Desire for so long in Genshin, right? And uh if I missed that weapon, it would just feel bad. You know what I mean? And I know for a lot of people, I think it's not good. I think they should rerun shit like that. I don't think it's good. I'm just saying I think it's a double edged sword for gotcha game companies because if you miss too many of those kind of like limited things, and if a future character comes out that could really use one of those like limited event weapons that you missed and they're never coming back, it's just going to feel really bad for that person or player, right? And I don't like playing. That's another reason why. That's another part of gotchas I don't like, right? And hopefully that kind of stuff goes away because, like, I can understand banners and characters, but those rerun, right? You can get reruns, right? But like stuff that just permanently you could never get again, it just doesn't feel good. So that's why I don't like missing out on shit in gotchas, right? And I guess the FOMO really gets to me in that way, right? So, um, if I can sit and grind a base manager, I'll take it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Arknights. Um, it looks like good quality Arknights Enfield, but like I said, I don't think it's the game for me. Like I know a lot of people are into Uma Musume. I just I knew from before it even came out in global that I would never play that game because it's just not my type of game, right? Like I don't like sports sim manager type. It's I know it's I'm not like it's horse girl racing, but the gameplay is not there, right? It's just not there for me. You man it you. I don't know exactly what you do, but it's more like I can tell it's already a game that I am not going to enjoy. So I didn't really get into Uma Musume, but I know a lot of people are into it right now, and I don't, so that's fine. But Arknights is like it's definitely more interesting to me than Uma Musume, but I don't know if I can get into Arknights. I may try it, but I highly doubt I would stick with it. And I would probably just play it for the combat and like the open world adventure. I don't. It's not really open world. It's more like large zones or something like encased. I don't know exactly what it's going to be like, um, but I definitely say the base building is not really my thing in Arknights. Neverness to Everness, however, is more of my thing. I would definitely try Neverness to Everness, and then Ananta. But Ananta's fucking dead, man. I don't know. I don't. I don't think Ananta's coming out, guys. I just don't think it's coming out. I think Ananta's fucking dead. I don't know, man. Where is like we have not heard anything about Ananta except for that trailer, right? Like I don't get where. So Ananta is just not coming out. So like this neverness to everness, and then what, right? But again, Ananta is like an open world thing, right? I guess some people are getting a little bit tired of open world. Maybe I don't really get tired of open worlds. It's just the FOMO for the gotcha shit. It's not the open world that bothers me, right? Like, it's mostly the FOMO in the gotcha. If it's an open world gotcha game, then it's yeah, the gotcha is going to annoy me more than the open world. So, but yeah, and like, there's not really much coming out nowadays. Like, what else is there to look forward to? I guess. There's some like other obscure gotcha games, but it's also the monetization too, right? Like I feel bad. I felt bad when I played HSR. I let's see what these guys are doing. They're playing like bosses or something like dungeons. We can build a okay. You can a somewhat built body like buff male kind of character. Uh, it's not that buff, but it's better than most anime games. Usually the dudes are like super fucking skinny, right? But so yeah, like what was I talking about? Yeah, what's coming out? Yeah, there's some like obscure gotcha games coming out, but like nothing really super eye catching for me on the horizon. So yeah, not much, man. I don't know. Just waiting around for fucking Blue Protocol. Someone get me a key. I don't think I'm gonna get one. But I don't know. I don't have enough pull. I guess it's because like when you even if you have subscribers, I don't have that much. I have like almost 400, but you gotta be like in the network, right? Like you gotta keep making videos, you gotta keep streaming, and you gotta like have connections to get it. I could probably get a key if I just kept up the grind, but I haven't been, so I don't really have connections to other streamers too. But yeah, I was hoping to get a beta key so I could just play this, but I guess not. Um, but yeah, guys. I mean, I just wanted to come on and like talk about Blue Protocol and like, hold on, I'll read your. If you started Genshin now and found out you can't get a good free item that will never return, kind of sucks. Hope they give it out as a permanent selector or something. Yeah, I mean that's what I hope a lot of gacha games. You know, like keep it exclusive for a couple of years maybe, but like permanently, like it'll never ever come back. It feels bad, like I don't care. Like, I have like every single event weapon in Genshin at R5. Like they're just 4-star weapons. A lot of them aren't that good, but like Festering Desire, right? Like just rerun it. I wouldn't even get upset. I don't care, right? Like I don't care. Let new players be able to get Festering Desire or something, right? Like put it in a fucking NPC shop somewhere for like a bunch of Mora, right? And just let people buy it. Like, yeah, just keep it exclusive for a couple of years, maybe 2 years, right? Like, you don't do the event, and then 2 years later it comes out and you can get it or something, or even that's kind of a long time, like a year, right? A year is a long time. So I just don't like when gotcha games do that, where they have stuff that's like permanently, and they do it because of FOMO, right? They create the artificial scarcity because you just otherwise if you don't play the game, you're gonna never get it, right? And it's just FOMO shit, right? So yeah, I just wanted to come on and talk about the UGC content and Blue Protocol, and then basically the future of my channel, which is going to be Genshin, UGC, and this game, Blue Protocol. Like, I'll be streaming mostly on YouTube, and then the videos, I'll probably make a video about like Blue Protocol and like first impressions when I play it, but that'll probably be around like release or something, right? And I'm going to be late to the fucking party because a lot of people have closed beta access and I don't, but I will play it on release. I think maybe a lot of things will change from beta to release, but we're going to be playing this game, streaming this game, getting into the grind. I'll try and get into some hardcore raiding groups and see how that goes. Because I am a veteran MMO player. I am played a lot of MMOs in my days. So we'll get into this game, and then for my content, I'm not doing gotcha drama anymore because okay, I was thinking of making one last video on gotcha drama, on like why gotcha drama is pointless, and like talk about why I'm not doing it anymore because I don't want to engage with that kind of community. I just don't think it's, first of all, I don't think it's interesting content, even though it gets in a lot of views. But it's just like it's unnecessary stress and anxiety inducing trash content that I don't want to do, and I got sucked into it. But I did kind of stick with my New Year's resolution was that slowly and slowly I kind of like left the gotcha drama scene. So for content going forward, I'm going to just stick with this, and I'm not going to worry about like collecting like viewers and stuff. If I just have like a small viewer base and we just like chill and fucking hang out and like watch shit like and like play Blue Protocol or do the Genshin UGC. That's where we can make a community. Actually, we can, if the Genshin user generated content mode kicks off, we can make like a small community of players and like make dungeons and like make content, right? And like play each other's fucking dungeons and shit. We could play with each other. That sounds fucking bad. But you know what I mean? Like but it'll make like a small community, see if that kicks off. And that's basically the future of this channel because Gotcha didn't work out, even though I still like Genshin, and we can like test out some games and play Blue Protocol and like maybe focus more on like the multiplayer aspects of like games, like because Blue Protocol we can like do dungeons and shit together if we make like a small community, and then or maybe I'll get into like hardcore raiding groups and stuff like that, and like stream it and stuff. Depends what the content's going to be like in this game. So yeah, and I just wanted to talk about that. There's not much else going on. I haven't been making content because of the summer. I'm just enjoying the summer in Canada because it's short and it's not very. It's going to be winter in like 2 months for me, which is crazy. So yeah, and Nod Cry's coming out the Friday stream. Should I? I don't know, man. It's hard for me to get up that early for the non-cry stream and like restream it. But I don't know. I might try and restream or the non-cry and do like a reaction, even though I won't have. It'll just be a fucking Capitano GIF. I don't know if I want to like use cameras and shit. But yeah. And Non-Cry's coming out. And, so September is going to be a lot of like Genshin content. And then we'll learn about the UGC hope soon enough. And yeah, and then kick off with like more, because it's going to be winter and I'm going to be inside a lot during winter because it's frozen hellhole outside. So I'll start streaming a lot more and making more video content during the winter months, and that's when all this stuff I want to play is coming out anyway, like the UGC, Blue Protocol. So yeah, perfect timing actually. And then Nod Cry will already be in full force, right? So people will be interested in Genshin again. It'll have content, and yeah, and so I'll just start making more stuff during that, and just chill with streams and shit, and see how that goes. But yeah, so I think that's it for today. Shorts, I don't know how long I've been streaming for actually, but because I'm just kind of been yapping and not really playing a game because I didn't get beta access. But hopefully this game comes out soon, and yeah, and then I'll just be chilling, guys. But yeah, I see some returning faces and Foxhole. I remember you used to play Foxhole. You used to play Wuthering Waves, and now you're playing Zenithstone Zero. I think you got tired of the drama back in. A lot of people are. I think a lot of people are tired of the gotcha drama. It's just kind of pointless if you think about it. But yeah. All right, guys, I think we're done there for the stream. And yeah, and I don't know. I might stream the non-cry thing, like do a little reaction to it, but we'll see. It's early, man. It's they stream that shit early on Friday. I think like 7 in the morning or some shit for my time, and I don't really like. I'm not a morning person. Let's put it that way. So yeah. Anyways, all right. Hopefully, Blue Protocol comes out soon, and hopefully uh, the UGC mode comes out soon, and we can like mess around and like yeah, actually start streaming and shit, make content for that. So take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching the stream, and yeah, comment if you let me know what you think about Blue Protocol, Genshin UGC, anything else. I might make a couple videos of like before Nodcry comes out. I was thinking of making another video on YouTube, just kind of like a long form type thing. I think that's the style I want to go towards. 20-minute videos or something like that. So, all right. But yeah, I'm gonna call it there for tonight. Thanks, guys, for watching, and take it easy. I'll see you later, guys. Have fun. Have a good summer or wherever you are in the world. Okay. Peace out.